Hi, I'm Caroline Cooke. I'm Head of Policy at Forces and Mind Trust. I've been working for the Trust since February 2019. It's a fantastic mix, actually, not just of policy, but of public affairs, research and communications, as I manage the policy and influencing evaluation team within Forces in Mind. There's a few projects we're working on at the moment that I think we're all particularly excited about at the Trust. And number one is our Futures project called Lifting Our Sights, which is about the trends in and what the future will look like in 2030 for people when they're leaving the armed forces, and what society and the wider world will be like then. It's been over a year, the project, and we are launching it on the 27th of May through an event that we anticipate several hundred people attending. And it really will, I think, have a long life, this project, because it looks at trends and insights and individuals' experience of transition in quite a broad, holistic way, before narrowing down to the key trends that are most likely to impact on not only the service leaver in 2030, but on the organisations that provide support for those who need it at that time. And within that, it contains toolkits that we anticipate organisations being able to use to really plan for the future, so that there isn't a gap between the sort of services that are provided and the needs that are there. I'm lucky in that my job is very varied. That we've got legislation going through Parliament at the moment, just been carried over in the Queen's speech on the Armed Forces Bill that includes provision to legislate for the Armed Forces Covenant in certain areas. And I'm part of a working group of charities that working with Ministry of Defence. And so then alongside that, there's the commissioning research work that we do. And we have very recently commissioned the next iteration of our community, our covenants, number 3, and it's a bigger, broader project than either of the others have been, and they've had a real impact. And we're confident that this will, which is really about evaluating the full impact of the covenant across all public services, not just with local authorities. That's due to report next year. Worked in and with the voluntary sector for a long time now, and always really enjoyed it, particularly when I first discovered the whole world of policy. I've never ceased to be fascinated and enjoy it. And I worked for a long time at the disability charity Scope. When I left there, I was acting head of research and public policy, and I worked in the campaigns team before that. So it gave me this campaigns, public affairs angle, as well as policy and research focus. Because I loved policy and was very interested in governance and accountability and regulation, as well as other social policy issues, when the opportunity to work at the Charity Commission came up and manage policy and research there, it sort of combined my interests. And I spent a great 13 years at the Charity Commission and had a lot of opportunity there too. I managed a foresight function for a while. But there's a bit of me that really does absolutely love the influencing side of being out in the sector and influencing policy development from the sector rather than developing it within government. What motivates me is unmet need. And if there are people who are vulnerable for whatever reason and aren't getting the support they need, primarily from governments, then there's work to be done. What I most enjoy about working on issues that affect the armed forces community is just knowing that while most people make a successful transition and don't struggle, when people do struggle, it can be really hard. And if there are solutions that we're not yet as a country, as the UK, delivering, then we need to bring the evidence to bear to make sure that they are in place. And that's what I most enjoy, I think. I really enjoy managing our assistant head of policy, Isabel, and our communications officer, Jen, and they are excellent to work with. and I want to help support them in their careers and development, and bring as much as they can to the trust. And at the same time, we're very lucky in that we are about to expand our team and recruit an additional person, the policy officer. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm looking forward to working with our new chief executive, Mike Ellicott, when he arrives in the next few weeks. So there's lots of change going on that I want to support and facilitate as much as possible. And that will involve building and strengthening relationships that we already have.